take off, big rocket blast off, jetpack. Woo! Come on and get some. Come on and get some. Come on and get some. Watch me.
Hello and welcome to Leat Live Maniacs for day 2 of Via Ferrata here in the Brezoi area of the Lotro Valley, an area that we have been to many times in the editions of Red Bull Romaniacs. I'm Craig Stone, and again is with me the legend Chris Burge.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be here again. And I didn't realize that this is called the Via Ferrata. It is the perfect name for it. Yeah. I got here a little earlier and tried to hike up this thing, and I was like, "This is like one of those French climbing things they call it."
Via Ferrata.
This Leat Live Maniacs. I thought yesterday was intense. That was like a warm up for what these guys are doing here. It doesn't look possible.
It does definitely. I mean, you literally stand at the bottom here, and if you look at the vertical meters that they need to gain in the short distance that they have, it's. Most people, we had some cyclists actually on the cycle lane coming past earlier wondering, what are we doing here? What are you guys doing? Are you going up there? Are you crazy?
Yeah. So to try and give people some context of this back home, this would be considered a pretty dangerous hiking trail.
Yes.
And these guys are going to ride motorcycles up and down it. Like, the staff, the camera guys that are bringing you guys this, what's going to be incredible footage, they're clipped in with climbing harnesses. They've got climbing helmets on. This is not okay.
No, it's not. And safety, obviously, priority. So there are quite a lot of catch nets and places where we can try and stop a falling motorcycle from going down to the ground. But we're going to see a lot of action here. What they're going to do when they come here, the Gold Riders, is do 3 loops of this Leat Live Maniacs signature section, and the championship riders who are riding for the championship of the World Rally Extreme Enduro, they will do 2 laps where they need to go left first and up this vertical wall of the Via Ferrata, and on the last lap they get to fire it up big style and shoot it up as far as they can. So that's going to be interesting to watch.
And that final climb, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not telling fibs here. I couldn't climb up it in my motorbike boots just now.
Yeah.
It was too hard. I had to start zigzagging and hanging onto trees to get up it.
Yeah. No, it's nuts. It's nuts. But it's going to be full of action. We're just waiting on the riders to come in. So they are a little bit behind schedule today, a bit slower than expected. I myself spent the night here last night just so that we're on location early, and it was beautiful. We had on the one side of us, sort of on the east side, was clear skies, beautiful stars, but up on the Alpines, where they will be going a little bit later on their way to the finish in Vulture, we had some big thunderstorms there. I just saw some blaze, the light absolutely, the night lighting up with lightning. It was beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's talking about the weather. It's significantly hotter today. Like even a little tent here, we're getting a bit of a sweat on, and that's going to make it so fatiguing for these guys, especially in the gold class, which we're about to see. When you're up and moving, 3rd, 4th gear, when the airflow, it's a nice temperature today. When you're pushing and lifting and scrumming on top of a motorcycle that's generating heat, there you're cooking.
Yeah.
And that heat management that's going to be a big challenge for the guys today.
And there's almost no breeze here too, so there's it's going to be tough. But let's go down and let's have a look at the start line from this morning. Let's bring you some of the action from the start line clip of day 2.
Good morning from the beautiful heart of Transylvania. Buckle up because this is Offroad Day 2.
So some great shots from the start line there. Guys launching themselves off those MTB hopper ramps. Graham Jarvis looked to me like he was full throttle out the gates this morning. He had a good result yesterday, coming in 5th place.
He definitely did. So this morning I got up nice and early and went out and watched one of the Press Pro gold climbs.
Yeah.
And Graham was just steaming.
Yeah.
He came through there, head down. I was shouting and encouraging, come on, go, Graham. Didn't look up. Full tunnel vision.
Normal
I am
style.
here on a mission.
Yeah. Tunnel vision is pretty much his style. And we saw some shots of Johnny Walker on the start line there. There's a big battle going on in the ultimate class with Paul Torres in first and Johnny Aubert in second, separated by only 48 seconds. So let's go down and have a look at that action that we had from yesterday of Offroad Day 1.
It was a scorching day in the Carpathian Mountains as Off-Road Day 1 of Red Bull Romaniacs roared to life. At the start line, anticipation was sky high, engines revving, adrenaline pumping. Leading the gold class into the wilderness, Mani Lettenbichler set a relentless pace, holding the front through 121 kilometers of brutal terrain. Behind him, Billy Bolt and Teo Kabachev battled wheel to wheel, a game of cat and mouse all the way to the finish, with Mario Roman never far behind. The course pushed everyone to their limits. Technical rock drops like skydive forced even the best to dismount, costing precious seconds.
Very nice.
This is skydive. How do you like skydive?
For now, we can ride everything so good.
And in the Live Maniacs section, steep quarry climbs and dramatic descents tested focus and flow. Lettenbichler stayed smooth. Bolt and Kabachev pushed hard, and Roman claimed the fastest time in that stage. In Silver Class, a deceptively easy start gave way to legendary downhills, with Eddie Carlson powering his E-Moto into the top 5 after 137 kilometers. The bronze riders tackled brutal climbs out of Gura Roli Dam, and Adventure Ultimate saw Paul Terrace and Johnny Aubert battling it out on bikes twice the weight of an enduro. Sam Sunderland led the Adventure Light field with confidence. Day 1 is in the books, but the mountains have plenty more in store. The race is far from over.
So the race times were actually really tight yesterday on Day 1, Chris. The guys, everybody pushing hard from the start, seems in all of the classes.
Absolutely. And there's some kind of interesting dark horses coming through. Like, good friends with Johnny Aubert, and he said, and I'm only coming here to, not take any chances. I can only ride the speed that I have. And he's right behind Paul Terrace.
Right behind him, yeah.
Yeah, he's just sneaky.
But let's go and have a look at what we have in store for Day 2 here. We'll have a flyer of Day 2 for what the gold class competitors can expect to see. So from the start in Poplaka, they have some nice easy riding over the fields there before they get into the twister, and we're going to see some of the action from that signature section in a few minutes before they go to Happy Birthday and then back down into the valley. This mofo climb is really, really difficult. It's such a short section, but it took them around 17 minutes this morning, which was quite long. Then through the service point here and then into the Leat Live Maniacs. They will do 3 loops of this area, going up the vertical rocks that we were talking about earlier, before heading across down to the finish for the marathon stage of Day 2 in Rumika Vulcha.
So today being the marathon stage, that's an extra challenge, right? Like the guys, then they have to make their bike last. They have to work on it themselves. It's not a true marathon stage. Like, you're not sleeping in a bivouac. The guys are going to sleep in the city.
Yeah.
But there's no service crews. The bikes are going to be impounded, and it's a real test of managing your bike, managing your tire, and your own ability to get your motorcycle through the most extreme terrain on the planet.
And really look after it. So let's go and have a look how they got on this morning at the twister section.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy up here, full of spectators on that very first hill. That's the twister that makes the boys wake up that the day has started.
Yeah.
So that was the Twister signature section this morning. Bit of a tongue twister there. And Mario Roman really on a fly this morning.
Yeah, Mario looks strong, focused, and that Twister section, that's what I got to go and see. The accuracy needed for that was unbelievable, and no one is more accurate in those situations than the guy we're looking at here.
Yeah, Manuel Ittenbichler. But as we're standing on the day 2 results now, Mario Roman's actually 1 minute and 23 seconds leading the day today. So he's trying to make up that time from yesterday. And Mario is one of those riders, for him, the harder the better. He wants it as extreme as possible, and he just gets stronger as the event progresses.
Well, he's going to love this section then.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. And we said yesterday he's, for me, one of the best at the big hill climbs. So we'll get to see how he goes here. Just waiting for Manny to get going.
So this is Manny about to start the Leat Live Maniacs section right in front of us. They'll be pausing his time. He's only allowed out at the right tick of the clock. So he'll be trying to look up, spot what few lines he can see what sort of advantage he can get, and obviously listening for those bikes coming behind. If it's this is a great opportunity to understand the gaps that you have to manage.
Yes, and last year we did have this signature section, the Via Ferrata, in the Live Maniacs last year, so many may have an idea of what to expect. Some of the lines would have changed up a little bit. We have had our team out there working on the track and changing a few lines, so there will be a few different line options to take, but Manny's definitely going to be one to watch here.
Do you wonder if he's thinking, oh yeah, this section, I remember this, or oh no, I remember this section?
Yeah, I think the latter is probably about right when you're sitting up and looking at these rocks. But you know, Manny as well, such a dedicated athlete, trains so hard, so dedicated. He's really the whole package. So I think for him too, you know, the harder the better. He just wants to extend his advantage out as much as possible.
It's interesting saying that Mario's pulled some time on Manny today. Definitely that twister section. You could see as every bike went through that section, the trail did get a little easier. It kind of tracked in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's been an advantage for Mario today as Letty again opens up. Sorry, Manny.
Manny.
Opens up this insane section.
So here, just on the bottom left of your screen there, that's the Via Ferrata ladder. That will just help the riders get up the section because it is almost vertical. It is so steep.
So I walked this section before and I needed my hands to climb up this. Yeah, it was not hands and knees, but I wasn't comfortable walking up it without using my hands. And here he is dragging a 100-kilogram motorcycle up it.
Looks quite dry. There we did have a little bit of rain overnight, but looks like it's already dried up. The humidity down here is quite something. So it is a bit dusty. That course will get a little bit changed up as the riders go through here.
I think once Manny gets his back tire, onto that rock, there's good traction on that rock. He can now reset and probably roll this next section. Yo!
Nicely ridden there.
The exposure and the steepness here is unreal as well, man. If you had any issues, any concerns with heights, this is not the class or the sport for you, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
This is a tight left-hander.
So he just had a look there over his left shoulder to just check where he wants to land the bike. Getting off to make this pivot turn, it just tells you how steep it is.
And he's getting off there. His back tire was in the absolutely perfect position, and that's what these turns are all about. So he got off then to make sure that his back tire stayed exactly where he needed it to be. These sort of situations, it's all about where your back tire is. Obviously, you know, motorcycles are one-wheel drive.
Yes.
That's the wheel that we need to have in the right place.
Manny firing up there. That's really nice section there. Probably a little bit damper underneath the shade of the tree, so guys are getting good grip there. But this section where he's coming up to now is one of the trickiest for me. It's really, really steep. And yeah, so there we see him making that pivot turn.
Absolutely extreme exposure too. Like he's maybe the camera doesn't tell the story. This guy's riding up a cliff at the moment. See him rolling back just a touch to get some extra little bit of momentum and get that bike rolling. Again, all about where that back wheel is.
And here he's going to get into the forest again. There are a few switchbacks through here. I would expect to see him to stay on the bike now through the next few pivot turns. Oh, he's off again. Just, wow.
What would you know?
Yeah, what do I know? Exactly. But he's doing good time through here, Manny. You know, not really making any mistakes, not wasting energy. You can hear just how low the revs of the bike are to not break traction and just keep his momentum going forward.
What's interesting, we're talking about how important it is that the back tire is in the perfect place the whole time. You haven't seen Manny turn his head and look once. He knows where his back wheel is. He doesn't need to look. He feels it. He knows it. He knows exactly where that bike is on the trail the entire time.
And up he goes over those routes there, well, on the Milwaukee banner. Just using it as a bit of a slippery slide. But he needs to bring it back left here and fire up again to the left-hand side of where he is to get up onto the ridge.
And he's got to get round on top of it. You can't keep pivoting the bike around that and have your body on the downhill side, as otherwise when it comes around you pull the bike down and undo all your hard work.
Yeah, you just don't want that back tire to slip off that little camber and slide down, because that just wastes so much energy.
For me, this is one of the most incredible things with Manny. He's just so efficient. Every movement is deliberate. There's so few mistakes. You know, much like a young Graham Jarvis.
Yes, exactly. Pretty similar technique, you know, like really calculated and so precise about what they do. Teodor Kovachev was the second rider off the start line this morning, so we should see him pretty shortly to come here to the Leat Live Maniacs section to start his first loop, as we see Manny crossing over the cross before he makes his way down the other side.
You can see that the energy management that Manny's pulling off as well. At this race, you know, obviously they're riding with an incredible intensity, but it is a 4-day marathon. So keeping the energy spend to its absolute minimum whilst being as fast as guy on the planet.
Yeah.
That's the game.
That's the game.
So he's going to traverse across this mountainside through the trees. Obviously, pretty hard to get the cameras and the footage in there. And then he's going to drop back down through some really loose, broken rock, shale, scree sort of stuff. And then he gets to do it all again.
Yeah, that's shale scree section is quite fun actually. You feel a bit like one of those downhill skiers. Just the whole bike, the brakes are on fully locked and everything, and you're just sliding your way down the slope like a snow slope.
Mario man on the gas.
So Mario, he passed Teo through the course this morning, so he's second on the track, as we said earlier, on the gas since the start this morning. And different riding styles there from, we can hear Mario firing that bike up, getting it revving hard to get himself high as possible. You see how he just used his left foot there on the foot peg. It's hard to notice sometimes, and maybe we can see it better from our position, but he just pushes his weight onto that foot peg to sort of get the wheel to bounce back onto the trail where he needs it to be.
He's also using the foot peg pressure so much in the sport. It's to try and push that weight into the back tire. Obviously, the harder you smear it in, the better. The two Sherco teammates pretty close to each other, eh?
Yeah, Teodor Kovachev in the waiting area, getting ready to go Mario's a little bit stuck on that section before the Via Ferrata ladder. So I'm sure that Teo's going to be hoping that Mario can get clear through there by the time he comes through.
It's interesting. Sometimes being a teammate could be a benefit in the sport. Maybe there are sections that we just need that little bit of help. And
yes.
Spectators are not allowed to help on this course. In this event, marshals aren't really allowed to pull the bike too much. But competitors can help competitors. So sometimes you'll see guys team up. Like if it's a one-line section where there's no chance you're going to be able to get around, it can be quicker to jump off your bike, give your mate a quick pull on the front wheel and move it forwards. And it's interesting seeing these two Sherco teammates so close to each other.
And this is a really technical hill climb because, you know, we get a lot of different versions of the climbing here at Red Bull Romaniacs. A lot of the big open forest sections where you use third or fourth gear flat out as get up as high as you can, and then you get these sections now where you're so super technical, and we can see the difference in the riding style there between Mario and Mani. Mani was so, the throttle control was everything, didn't spin up the wheel, and he's on a second loop now.
It's going to be interesting to see what the gap is between Teo and Manny starting there. Obviously, Teo starting his first lap and Manny starting his second. And we just saw Billy Bolton there as well. So, again, pretty tight gaps between the guys today.
Very, very, very close racing today. I think the weather's played a big part of that. When it's dry conditions, we generally get the closer racing, which is so nice because it makes it so really exciting.
So we've actually got a little bit of a queue potential happening here. So we've got Manny on his second lap, Teo on his first lap, Billy on his first lap, and they're all, there's decent time gaps in terms of the event, but actually on the trail, very, very close to each other.
And I was just looking out to try and see where Mario was, and we just got a shot of him there. So Mario's on that sort of last big rocky section before he climbs up towards the cross. So Manny is going to be across that camber and joining Mario quite shortly, I would suspect. And you look how fast he's doing that turn now. So Manny knows the sections where he's been through, and he's just using the same techniques and just upping the intensity. Billy in front of us here, so as we see Manny going through on the Via Ferrata ladder, Billy's having a little bit of a difficult time in front of us behind Tero, trying to get up to that Via Ferrata ladder as we see Manny making his way back up to the cross.
So it may seem a bit strange, I thought this was a motorcycle race to see guys off and pushing and lifting, but this is part of the sport of hard enduro, like being able to, there's technique and there's skill involved in being able to be off the bike and manage it through this terrain. Obviously we want to be riding it, that's the goal.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's a real skill set these guys are showing and actually being able to get this motorcycle through here. They're not trying to lift it up and carry it and push a 100-kilogram motorcycle. They're trying to use their strength in little key moments to get the bike timed with clutch and throttle to get the bike to where they need it to be to inch and step by step their way up this hill.
So they sort of change their body position and their techniques to get the bike to do the work and not exert their own physical energy.
As much as possible. And you can see, again, like he's not lifting the front wheel around there. He's using little pops of clutch to make the motor bring the front end of the bike around. Although I'm sure, having said all that, they're probably spending more time standing beside the bike than they would like to in this hot sun.
But Mario's ridden that section really nicely. He sort of went a little bit higher up to the left there so that he had a little bit of room to play with if something went wrong to get to where he is now on that rock to make his way up onto the top.
Look how steep that is.
And Manny, lucky he's got a little bit of a platform to play there to do that pivot turn, but I can tell you it's not easy. So Manuel, let me clear, so he's on that same line that Mario took a little bit earlier before he shoots up to get over that rock. So Mario now is up and over. He's almost done his first lap, and just trying to catch a glimpse of Billy where he is. Billy has cleared the section before the Via Ferrata where he was spinning the back wheel up a little bit, but looks like he's back in on it again.
That was nice, kind of flowing all the way through that big switchback turn.
Beautiful shots here from our drone camera of this area. In the autumn time, especially, it's absolutely beautiful when all these leaves start changing those dark reds and maroons and yellows. It's such a beautiful time of the year as well. So Tero now is
bit more CrossFit.
Bit more CrossFit, yeah. And he's at the section where we saw Manny and Mario a little bit earlier. But Billy looks like he's losing touch a little bit here. Nicely ridden there. He sort of used his body weight and kept his body weight to the steep side of the bank to stop that back tire from sliding out. And Billy, don't forget, he hasn't raced at the Red Bull Romaniacs for, I think, almost the last 2 years due to injury. So I think he's finding it a little bit more difficult to adapt to the conditions compared to the other guys.
There's Manic sliding down that downhill scree slope. So he's done 2 laps. What's happening on his 3rd lap again?
So he'll come in now to finish his 2nd loop. And then on the last loop, instead of making the left turn under the Red Bull Arch to go back up to that Via Ferrata, it's like another one of those stone shale screed sections where he'll need to take a straight line and fire the bike up as high as he can to get to that very first off-camber section where they pivot across to the Milwaukee banners.
And the run-up for that is a super sketchy jump across a 2-meter deep terrain.
Yeah, it's pretty much no run-up at all. And also with the jump, if you can come to a stop and then you lose all that momentum. But there's that screed section that we were talking about a bit earlier. Nice sketchy downhill for these guys.
It's quite an insane feeling to be pulling on the brakes as hard as you can. Your wheels are stopped and you're still accelerating.
Yeah.
It's a very unique experience.
Not much you can do to stop.
And that's an interesting thing. You say not much you can do to stop. Manny's not trying to stop here. He's trying to get his bike down the hill as fast as he possibly can. The idea of I can't stop here wouldn't have even crossed his mind.
He's in full control. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's chosen his lines well in advance, and he's just trying to maintain that gap to the guys behind him.
It's a very big difference between being unable to stop and being out of control.
Yeah, absolutely.
Billy's trying to find the line, trying to find this way through. He's holding good pace through here, eh?
Yeah, definitely doing some good pace, and I'm just looking for his... So here he goes. We can't see it on camera, but Manny's gone for that 3rd lap, and oh my word, Chris, look at that. How does he get that high up there? I'm sorry we can't, we don't have this on screen for you at the moment, but I couldn't contain myself there. The way that Manny just absolutely destroyed this hill climb in front of us was quite something.
That was supposed to take considerably longer than that, I believe.
Most certainly, most certainly. And I'm just trying to find...
So this ladder, I walked down this. It's so steep, it's scary to walk down.
Yeah. So here we see, we've got the image now of Manny where he's cleared this whole section. So he is, you could say, 3 switchbacks ahead of the other riders now on his last loop to get up and over the cross at the top. It took Manny 8 minutes and 13 seconds to ride that last lap, which is just insane. Because the first time that we came here, there was nothing. There was no path, and we sort of estimated that with a bit of digging and
Billy.
Billy, don't want to be doing that, boy.
Oh, he'll be happy that stopped there. So maybe he's come off the line a bit there and he's off into the bush. A bit of tape there. That might have been a calculated shortcut gone wrong.
Yeah, or sort of just lifted his eyes to see where he wants to go, and then tagged a bush here, because those little bushes there are tough, and if they just catch your foot peg or catch your foot and pull you off balance, you can be off.
It is amazing the beating these motorcycles can take too. Eh?
Yeah.
Like we just watched that cartwheel down a hill, bang the levers back to place, good to go.
Off he goes.
Yesterday we had some tremendous cartwheels down some incredibly steep sections, and the bikes are still rolling. Those guys are still racing. It's unbelievable the beatings these motorcycles will endure. Not saying you want a cartwheel your motorbike down the hill.
Certainly not. As we see Mario Romagna coming through.
A big reason you're seeing these guys jump off the bike so much as well on these pivots is they probably could do it on the bike if they really wanted to, but this area is so incredibly steep. If they get that hero move wrong, the bike could be destroyed. That could be the end of their race. So they're obviously trying to milk every second they can out of the section, but also having to get their bike, conserve their bike through, because again, this is the marathon stage.
Yes.
Whatever you bend, whatever you damage today is what you're riding tomorrow.
No, because they've just, as Chris is saying, they've just gone through the service point, and their mechanics would have given a real close look at the bikes and fixed everything they could, because from now until service point tomorrow on day 3, they will have no assistance from their service crews, and they'll have to ride the same tires and fix whatever's broken on their own motorcycles.
I would imagine they'll have spare levers, spare controls, stashed on the bike somewhere, stashed in their backpack, but they're not going to have spare handlebars or a spare expansion chamber. So that'll be playing on these guys' minds that they have to get their bike through this.
And if something does happen, you have to walk around the paddock and try and find a mate that is going to help you out.
That's a big ask. How would you like to ride 8 hours on bent handlebars for me?
I actually had a walk around the riders paddock last night, and it was such a nice atmosphere down there. All the guys and girls in that riders paddock working on their bikes, getting them ready, tinkering and fiddling, something that us enduro riders, well, most of us at least, like to do.
Yeah. You can see how hard these guys have to train for this event. Like Teo's just done 10 max strength shoulder presses.
Yeah.
And just this small section watching here, every moment that Teo spent in the gym in the last 3 months is going to be paying off on those shoulder presses.
Yeah. And just in terms of the lap times that these guys were doing, so as I said earlier, Manny did 8 minutes and 13 seconds on his first lap. Teo did 10 minutes and 5 seconds, and Mario 9 minutes and 36.
We got something going on here. Teo's been looking down at his bike, pausing. Oh, he's off again now, but he looked like he wasn't happy with something.
Did he lose his goggles maybe? Or
no, looked like he was maybe fiddling with the back brake or something like that, and hopefully he's not picked up something that can't be remedied himself tonight.
So usually most of the guys will run disc protectors on their bikes where it stops the front or the rear brake disc from being bent, because if it does get bent, what happens is it pushes the caliper, and then you can go to a section and dab and go for the brake, and there'll be nothing there because the brake pedal needs to push the fluid through the piston again to make contact with the disc.
So that line that Teo took through there, that's again all about getting that back tire in the right place. So it looked like he was almost going the wrong way for a second, because he had the front wheel up in the bushes and nowhere near the track. But it's just so that he can get that driving wheel, that back wheel in the correct place for him.
Nice riding from Tero, just keeping the bike in as straight as line as possible to get the drive. But what we're seeing here now from our drone is Manny Leatt. He's cleared the Leat Live Maniacs loops, and he's out. Go, Manny, let's go, boy! Manny flying past our tent here.
It's our own little sweat box in here.
Yeah. It's so hot. Yeah. But Manny doing 7 minutes on that last loop, so he's just in an absolute mission. He knows that yesterday the times were quite close. From the top 3 guys, there was only 9 minutes. Teodor Kabachev was 7 minutes behind Manny Littenbichler, and Billy was 9 minutes behind Manny in third, only 2 behind Teo. So the times are close. I did expect a little bit more of a gap from Manny yesterday. So
after what we saw from Manny last year, when we were talking about a half-hour gap at this time, it's a significantly closer race this year. And a 7-minute lead, that's a nice lead, but you can make a 7-minute mistake in Romaniacs, no problem whatsoever.
I mean, we saw from Billy just now, just losing it on the downhill and dropping the bike. You know, you just can't count your chickens yet until you're in the finish line. So Billy's going to fire it up here across the off-camber.
So you can see he's just basically trying to mentally step ladder his way up this hill. It's like, right, from that point where we're on that turn, where do I need to get to next? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm at that point, where do I need to get my back wheel to next? He's going to spin it round.
You see the front pipe there on Billy's bike is quite blue, so it just shows you how hot the bike's getting. Oh, is that Mario's trying to make an inside move there on Billy?
That was a big ask, worth a try. So if Mario could sneak up the inside and basically park his bike in front of Billy there, blocking that line, that would have been the overtake. And it's cool to see that that's in Mario's mind, man. He's obviously on a charge. He's not looking just to nurse his way through here. He's trying to make those passes and get through there as fast as he possibly can.
He's on the charge, but that is going to cost him a bit of energy now to get it back onto the line.
But that's going to mess with Billy's head as well. That's good. Oh, that rock running down there.
Down.
That's going to get into Billy's head now as well. Someone tries to put a pass on you. That's a wake-up call, and how Billy responds to that will be interesting to see.
What a nice turn there from Billy, just waiting the back wheel, clutch control, bringing the front end around to where he wants it to be.
Feet up, driving it forwards.
There you go, Bill. Come on, boy.
Another thing in the world of hard enduro is how important the seat cover is, which sounds like a silly thing. But in hard enduro, all the guys are running like a pleated, super grippy seat cover, and it makes it so much easier to stay locked into the bike. So as he's going up those hill climbs, it's basically the grippy seat cover that's pulling him forwards, literally by the seat of his pants. It can be a bit hard on your butt. Like by the time you finish Red Bull Romaniacs, your ass it's a different color than when you started. But if it wasn't with these new techniques of having your feet lower and towards the back of it wouldn't work without these seat covers.
Yes, and Billy, I've heard, changes his seat cover sort of every 3 days to try and
keep it sharp
and grippy, because it takes a lot of the weight off your shoulders and your arms as well if you can get on that seat.
And that's what makes it really challenging here when it rains as well, right? Like it gets slipperier on the seat, so instead of being pulled forwards by your pants, you're having to hold yourself forwards with your arms.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw a little bit earlier, a few seconds ago there, Mario is now back up to Billy and gave the back wheel of Billy's bike a little tap with his and say, come on, boy, I'm coming.
I think we should keep our eyes peeled for another inside from Mario here. He'll just be looking for any opportunity.
Do you think Mario could straight line it there past Billy up there? That would be quite something to see.
That would be impressive. Remember, it is a cliff face. So at the moment, Mario is having to wait for Billy. That's not something he wants to be doing when he's trying to make time on Manny. But he's got to weigh up the risk versus the rewards.
Yeah.
If he tries to do some sort of hero line and smash his way past and cartwheels his bike, that's not a good scenario.
No, he's fighting for the overall. He's fighting for a podium. He knows it's only on day 2. He can. He's got the motivation that he has and the strength to keep pushing these guys on like that, and he doesn't need to take any chances here.
probably just waiting for that opportunity to present itself.
Yes. So the track evolving quite nicely. There's quite a nice line there developing as these guys make their way to the top. So Billy's back up and over the top. Let's see him go down the downhill now. Hopefully he flies down like a...
It was very interesting going to watch the first signature session this morning. The first few guys through, it was actually really challenging. There was no line, no rut form whatsoever.
Really?
Very hard for the guys to get the traction and hold the bike on the side of the hill. And then the track started to develop, the ruts started to form, and it actually became quite significantly easier for a while.
Yes.
And then it blew out completely.
Oh my word.
The helpful ruts turned into disastrous ruts, and it became so challenging for the guys at the back. They were having to push and lift and zigzag and invent new lines as the track deteriorated.
And sometimes, I mean, that usually happens if somebody loses their back wheel and that completely destroys the rut.
Yeah.
And then you have to...
What happened on this climb this morning is someone dislodged a big boulder with the back wheel, and that smeared the whole side of the track off.
Yes.
And what was a nice, beneficial, hold your back wheel on the line rut turned into a big, horrible, sketchy off-camber that the guys then had to start zigzagging and traversing around.
Yeah. As we see Michael Volkner in shot now. So Michael Volkner is in this signature section of the Leat Live Maniacs, and he's made quite quick work of that Via Ferrata section.
Michael Volkner is not racing the whole hard enduro series this year. He's just picking and choosing his selective events, and he's almost becoming a bit of a Red Bull Romaniacs specialist, you could say.
He's been here for quite a few editions, and since a young age, and just, you know, learning as he goes and just building his strength.
I think he would have liked to have got a little further then.
As Tero flies up this big climb for his last lap in front of us here. But Michael's in a bit of a tricky spot there because he didn't quite get as high up as he should have.
That's when you just haven't quite reached your back wheel to where it needs to be. Maybe you got his front wheel to where it needs to be, but that's not the wheel he needs.
Yeah.
And then that gets replaced by more shoulder presses.
More shoulder presses. Here we go. That's Teo.
So yeah, so Teo's taken that shorter line up the main, on his lap 3, up that big launch up the scree, and he's basically cut the first section of it out, which is what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And now he's managed to find his way past Michael.
So I think Michael was probably trying to get on that line where we just saw Teo riding, but Teo also will have saved a bit of energy not having to do the Via Ferrata and just firing his bike up that first hill climb under from the Red Bull Arch as he makes his way to complete his last loop.
This will be good for Michael for the next few little bits to be able to spot Teo's line. Obviously, Michael's on lap 1, Teo's on lap 3, and he's going to be able to maybe learn a little bit here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to lose that toe quickly, though.
So Michael doing nicely across this off-camber section. As you might hear in front of us, Billy Bolts is on his last loop, up firing up the hill climb in front of us. So Billy and Teo all on their last loops here. As we have Mario. Well done, Mario. Mario just passing us through our tent here, charging after Manny.
So Billy's managed to make his way up this final climb, and he's going to rejoin back onto the Via Ferrata track. He'll be happy to have got up there pretty tidy.
And Mario started 7 minutes behind Manny this morning, and that can work to your advantage in a big way because, you know, Mario, he's seen Manny riding here at the Leat Live Maniacs. He knows his insights. If he can just push harder and sort of get Manny back in his sights and actually physically see him, it's going to really motivate him to go for the win for the day and possibly get really close to that overall well.
For me, it's too hot for maths, but is Mario with the time gaps now in second overall?
Yes, I would say Mario's in second overall. I can bring you in a few seconds the overall as it is from day 1 and day 2 as we watch Billy coming up through this last section now.
I think he'll be happy to be getting out of here in one piece and getting on the way to the finish. He's lost a little bit of time on the boys today. There you go. That's one hot Englishman. It is hot here. The guys are in the sun the whole time. And there's been no airflow. There's a breath of wind here, and these guys are not moving anywhere near fast enough to create their own wind.
Yes.
I think getting out of the section, clicking a couple of gears, and getting onto some more open terrain is going to be very, very welcoming for these guys.
So Marco Wagner, he's doesn't have long to go now before he's up and over from the cross. But yes, Chris, you're right. Mario is in second place overall now, it looks like. So we haven't seen Theodore come through the last checkpoint. So this could change. But as it is standing now, Mario Roman is in second place overall.
Billy was looking like he's starting to hurt a bit there. Like the arms might be giving up, and there's some big breaths going in there.
As we see the legend himself, Graham Jarvis. Graham Jarvis now is in the Leat Live Maniacs Via Ferrata.
So he's going to want to try and get as far up this next section in one go. This is a big push. It's a lot of energy burnt trying to push up here. Ooh, that was a little hesitant there. So Graham's going to assess it, try and find the angles to work with, get that back wheel where he wants it to be, to try and edge that bike up and over here. Come on, Graham, you're too old to push.
Come on, dear Graham. And speaking of Mario and Manny Lettenbichler, Mario Roman was 12 minutes behind Manny Lettenbichler yesterday on day one. So he's on an absolute charge to try and close that gap down. And he's going to use that 7 minutes that he had between the start times between them to try and use that to his advantage to make some time back on Manny.
We see Graham going to work.
Yeah. This is what he does.
This is what he does.
And where is now is where we saw Billy wheel spinning quite a lot. Billy obviously in absolute great shape this year, probably the best we've ever seen him. And Billy sort of has that strength to push the bike up those sections where Graham is now. Whereas Graham's just trying to look around and find somewhere that he can get a little bit of traction and get the bike to do the work for him.
Oh. Hold on to it, Graham.
So as we watch Graham just trying to get himself together here, we're going to go across and see a clip of Graham from his past years.
If I don't win, I'm sure I'm going to still enjoy it, but second's no good to me.
He is probably rightly so regarded as the GOAT, the greatest hard enduro rider of all time. Graham Jarvis has won almost every big hard enduro event, most of them multiple times. At Red Bull Romaniacs, he is the record holder, celebrating 7 victories in Sibiu. Back in 2008, he came from nowhere. As novice in hard enduro and participating the first time, Jarvis claims his first Red Bull Romaniacs win. Since then, Graham Jarvis has fought countless great battles. Calm, deliberate, and mercilessly sure-footed, the silent assassin is truly a legend.
So Graham, undeniably, absolute the legend of the sport, right? Like, Manny's creaking up in the legend department, but there is undeniably the greatest of all time. But unfortunately, he's not having a great time here at the moment.
Yeah, he's still trying to make his way up that Via Ferrata, but let's not forget that Graham is 5th overall in the gold class here. Turned 50 years old in April. I mean,
it's incredible. It's
what a legend.
Through my race career with in hard enduro, Graham was a real pain in the ass.
Yeah,
like just so solid, you can never rattle him, so hard to beat, and he still continues to be a pain in my ass today. People go, oh, Chris, why aren't you racing gold? Ah, man, I'm too old for that. Oh yeah, but Graham Jarvis, like, yeah, okay. That doesn't count. I am genuinely in awe of this guy.
Yeah.
Like, of course, that he can do it, but also that he still wants to do it. Like,
yes.
Like Graham's 50, he doesn't owe anyone anything. He's achieved more than anybody could ever achieve in the sport. And here he is still bench pressing a bike over his head in 30-something degree weather on the side of a mountain in Romania.
No, it's amazing.
It's an incredible effort.
So while we see Marco Volkner as well on course here, we've had Tero Kabachev and Billy come past us here in the commentary tent. So they are making their way to the finish in Vulture.
So we do have some guys here. Obviously, this track's very, very one-lined. They won't help unless they absolutely have to.
Yes.
But we don't want this track to turn into a bottleneck and for the guys who are sitting around too much. Although I'm sure some of them would be more than happy with a quick breather. So these guys will jump in and help the guys, like you're seeing helping Graham through here, just to try and keep this track clear and keep it fair for everyone.
Yeah, and as we said from the beginning of the show, that line there is getting a bit eaten up and making it a little bit more difficult for the guys.
So we just heard come through that bit of inside information that Billy Bolt managed to break his hydration system during this, and that hydration system, that's like a lifeline.
Oh, my word.
I don't know how far they have to go from here to the finish, but he's going to want that.
Yeah, it's still a while. They've almost 1 hour of riding from here to the finish. And possibly it was when he had that little tumble that we saw in the downhill. Maybe he sort of landed on his back, and which there was too much pressure and then burst that,
potentially,
what we call the bladder of the hydration system.
He was also cartwheeling between tree branches at the time too. So yeah, many different options there.
Really not the smallest man on earth either.
No. So that has potential long-term ramifications when it's as hot as it is today.
So he will get some water though at the tank point, which is the refuel point between here and the finish. So it will affect him a bit.
Right. So we've just had Bolter. Paul Bolton shouted us in the tent. Heads up, he just Billy Bolt. I'm sorry. Words, English. The inside goss is that Billy said he's feeling the best he's ever had. He's getting up the hills like he's never got up the hills before in his life. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool because it means that we have a race in our hands here, and with Mario, Billy, and Teo both, all of them, all three charging after Manny. Manny's got his work cut out for him.
And we've got Graham Jarvis in the mix as well.
And we've got Graham Jarvis. Marco Volkner doing really well as well there in fifth place, sorry.
It looks to me like that Mitch Brightmore's made up a fair bit of time as well. And we were talking earlier about cartwheeling motorcycles.
Yeah.
Mitch was the bike that probably cartwheeled the furthest yesterday, and here it is still in one piece.
So yesterday we saw Mitch Brightmore and Matthew Green, two of the guys that came through from the ranks of the juniors of the Junior World Championship, riding a lot together yesterday. Seems maybe after that downhill, Mitch was a little bit rattled, and because when we saw him at the Leat Live Maniacs section yesterday of martial arts, Mitch was pretty relaxed, what I thought, not really in race mode, so just conserving himself to the finish, but he's on a charge today. And Mitch as well, one of those riders with unbelievable talent and skills on a motorbike.
Graham is going to be one of the smoothest guys on the planet. Like it's so, I believe like the way he can conserve his energy and get the bike through with like the least amount of fuss, that combined with world level mental strength, that's why he can still do this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And not this turn he's doing now, the one before that, he never got off his bike to do the turn, and I think I remember most of the others did, so just showing the class of the man.
You can see another little trick thing to look out for these guys. When they're on the off camber on the side of the hill there, you'll almost never see them take their downhill foot off the foot peg. That's unless he's got something to put it on, like to push like he is here.
Yeah.
So he's going to want to have that foot back on the peg, pushing the tyre into the hillside, and try to stop the bike coming out from underneath him. It's also a safety thing as well. Like if you get a bit of a wobble, if the bike starts to fall to the downhill side, you can push and drive off that outside foot peg, throw your weight into the hillside, and try and keep it stuck to the side of this Romanian mountain. So Graham's going to want to try and find a sweet spot for his back wheel so that he can pivot. Oh, he's lifting the back wheel around. Yeah, so now he can pivot that front wheel up and climb that next step.
Knocking it down into first gear there just to make sure that he's in the right gear and not putting any strain on his clutch system of the bike. Nice smooth riding out there. But earlier on, we were talking earlier on in the day that Mario Roman was leading the day up to this Leat Live Maniacs section, but it seems like Manny absolutely dominating the Leat Live Maniacs section, because for the day 2 provisional, as you can see and what you can also find on our website, is that Manny is leading Mario by 1 minute and 51 seconds so far before they get to the finish line. They've got 2 more checkpoints to go through before they make it to the finish line, but it's definitely going to be a race all the way to the end for the honors of day 2.
That is a tight race, eh?
Yeah.
So Graham's trying to find the line, trying to find where he needs to get his bike to. And again, the big thing here is you do not want to stuff this turn up. Look what's behind him there. If that goes wrong, that bike's going to go clunkety, 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 clunk, all the way back down. Yeah. And 2 reasons you don't want that. Number 1, you don't want to break your bike. But number 2, you're going to have to get it back up there again.
Yeah.
What a pain in the neck that'd be. That shows you how steep this hillside is, this face that they're riding up.
So Mitch Brightmore, he is making hard work with this turn here. He doesn't want to lose that front wheel, because he knows if he falls down there, he's in mega trouble. But he's definitely making hard work for himself here.
That's Michael Walkner. That's is it?
No, that's Mitch.
Oops, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the wrong numbers. What a muppet.
X-Grip, come on.
Yeah,
he's our X-Grip man.
Yeah. That was a very cautious pivot turn for Mitch. Maybe that the memories of the cartwheeling bike from yesterday are still strong.
Not taking any chances, as he knows there's going to be no service crew for him at the finish line today for this marathon stage. 16 is Felix Bauke from Germany.
Yeah, Felix Bauke. He's having a really strong day, right up there with the factory boys.
Yeah, we haven't seen Matthew Green come through yet. So Felix is really on a good riding day today.
He's looking fast too. He's looking strong, looking fit. Like he's flowing through this with some good aggression. Just talking about Matthew Green, in that first signature section I got to watch this morning, he was off the side of the bike and kickstarting it.
Oh my.
Yeah, so something's obviously gone a bit wrong, a bit sideways there.
Yes.
All these bikes these days are equipped with electric start. You should be starting it with a button. But not many of the bikes now, but some of the bikes still have a kickstart backup. So if that system fails, you're kicking it with your leg, old school style.
Yeah.
But in this terrain, that's a nightmare.
Especially if you're on the wrong side.
It is.
There's just no ways you're going to get that thing started. Something may have happened to Matthew Green, though, because I'm just looking at some of the results for the day. He is way down in the rankings. He came in 7th position yesterday, but he did tell me that he hit his leg pretty hard on a log yesterday at one point, and it was really giving him a lot of pain. So hopefully he's okay and he's going to continue in the race.
That's a great shot that shows you just how steep this terrain is. Is that Alfredo Gomez?
Alfredo, yeah.
Yeah.
So Alfredo, also no stranger to Red Bull Romaniacs. Alfredo riding on the beta team this year.
I think this part of the climb has actually it started to deteriorate. I think it's getting harder and harder as the dirt gets pulled out behind the rocks, the holes get deeper, the steps get higher, and all that powdery dirt, there's no traction on that whatsoever.
So let's go across to the finish line where we have Jesse for some thoughts in the finish line of Vulture.
Hi guys, I am live from Vulture at the finish line. Now hopefully today the riders are going to be even more happy when they see my face, because now they know that my face means they've reached it to the finish. Now yesterday's finish was quite exciting. We did see quite a lot of big crashes on that final jump, and if you haven't seen them, head to the Red Bull Romaniacs Instagram. But today is something even crazier. We have a full super enduro track at the end here. Now the riders are going to come around the corner, they're going to see the Red Bull Arch. Yes, I've made it to the finish, and little do they know, they've got this ahead of them. Now there is some absolutely crazy ways that they could cross the river here, so I think it's going to be very exciting, and we're going to see some very interesting crashes, which is great for us to watch, not so great for the riders. These riders have ridden so far today, and this is the marathon part of the race. They do not get any mechanical help tonight. Some of them are going to get here, and then they are going to wreck their bikes in the last 70 meters. But here we have who came second place in the Adventure Light, Oliver.
Sometimes we always got a kiss. If we came to
almost. Now, can you tell us, how was it out there today? Sam Sunderland came in, seemed pretty cool, calm and collected. What can you tell me about it?
Perfect tracks, as long as you keep on riding.
And would you say it's really enjoyable, the Adventure Light class?
It's enjoyable, but yeah, if you do it with a big one.
Yes. And what do you think about the addition to the adventure bike class for Red Bull Romaniacs?
Good decision to do that. It's a big market that opens with these bikes, so I think they're gonna come more next years.
And anyone watching at home that's thinking about doing it, what would your advice be to them?
Stay seated.
Stay seated. Thank you very much. And we'll cut back to you guys when we have some more action down here. Back to you guys.
So we're going to have quite a few classes that will be in the finish line today before our gold competitors come in. So hopefully that we get some of the words and comments from some of the other riders, because as we said earlier, there's a mega race going on in some of the other classes.
That was a nice climb from Alfredo, man. Alfredo's never been scared of the climbs. He's always been a guy to kind of get up it and get the 300 wound out. It's such a good sound listening to a 300 two-stroke getting revved to the max and that power getting driven into the ground. Nicely done, up and around that section. So you see, he got that bike, just that extra bike length further forwards, got the back tire to where it needed to be, and that made his life significantly easier than what we saw from Michael Walkner earlier. So unfortunately, in this sport, mistakes punish you in more than one way. They punish you in time, but they also punish you in energy. And on today like this, it's heat as well. Like every mistake you make, you're just getting that little bit hotter. Your brain temperature starts to get a bit too high, and then the mistakes that can come even thicker and faster.
Yes. So in the silver class yesterday, we had Justin Elizondo. Sorry, I keep butchering that one. Sorry about that. But he is from Costa Rica. He came in first place ahead of Cornel Ott of Hungary. And then Adam Giles from Australia in third. And your fellow Kiwi, Will Yeoman, in fourth.
Yeah, so this is Will's first Red Bull Romaniacs. He's a very experienced racer from New Zealand. Kicked my ass in a race this year.
Wow. So must be top, eh?
He goes all right. Yeah. So Will will be happy with that for his first time in Romaniacs. He'll be happy with that for sure. He's fast, so he's a really good cross-country racer, and a good all-round rider. Adam Giles is a multiple-time Red Bull Romaniacs competitor out of Australia, and Eddie sitting there in fifth overall on the Stark. It'd be interesting to see how much of that is Eddie and how much of that is battery change time.
Yes.
I know Eddie's an absolutely incredible trials rider in the past, incredible super enduro rider, but probably not so experienced in the more open flowing, almost rally style sections that Red Bull Romaniacs has.
Yeah, you said that, and I'm just looking, they very, very close to the finish line now, the silver guys, and Eddie's actually in second place overall, only 6 seconds behind Justin, so they're really going for it, those guys, as we see Alfredo making his way up to the top here of the Via Ferrata.
Pivoting it around, getting the back wheel in the pocket.
And sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Alfredo looks like he's hurting here. That wasn't the most determined leap back on a motorbike I've seen from him. That's probably where that heat's coming in, right?
And just coming back to Billy damaging his hydration pack, Alfredo had a similar situation quite a few years back in one of our new signature sections that we had on day one. And Alfredo, by the time he got to the top, he had nothing left. He had no water. He had no energy. He was absolutely spent. So it's so important, especially when it's so hot in these kind of conditions, to keep hydrating, fueling your body and getting those electrolytes back in.
Absolutely, and hot days and long distance events like this is absolutely crucial. So the guys are going to have to be really, really managing that, and that's going to put Billy at a potential disadvantage. Hopefully, he's been staying on top of it enough beforehand. Here's Graham getting a tug up that really, really challenging section.
Yeah.
I think the cameras don't quite show it from the angle, but I think that's got significantly harder with the traffic coming up with the extra bikes. Sometimes the tracks get easier. Sometimes they get harder, and it all just depends on how deep the holes get.
Just trying to make out to their riders behind Graham. But he's wanting to just line himself up there and try and get a little bit higher than where Graham was, so that he's in a better position to ride his way out.
For sure. Every level you can ride up is a level you don't have to push up.
Yeah.
That's got to feel good.
And I think this is Alfredo coming over the top here now. Alfredo coming over the top of the cross to make his way down. And it's digging out there, that rut.
It is. That's a cool shot, isn't it? That shows you what those guys have climbed in such a short time. When I arrived here a couple of hours ago now, the thought that came to my mind is like, how could anybody even consider that was going to be a racetrack? It's incredible that Martin Fernademits, the curator of Red Bull Romaniacs, looked at that cliff face and went, oh yeah, we can make this work.
Yeah, he sort of has this knack or this vision for seeing things that most of us would never even consider.
I can assume a lot of people around him when he made that call thought he was insane.
Yeah, absolutely. And he said, no, man, come on, just bring some tools next time. Bring a spade and dig here, dig there, make a little platform. And eventually this is the result of it. So Mitch Brightmore there, he's on his second lap. I hope he's not still stuck in the same place that we saw him earlier, but should be on his second loop now.
I think it's safe to say he's on his second loop.
Yeah.
And definitely the second time around, it's going to be easier. You know where you need to get to. You know the moves you need to pull off. Obviously, probably the heart rate's a bit higher. The arms are that bit more tired. But the second lap is not the challenge that the first lap generally is. You see those times come down.
He rode so nicely across that section, though, because where just before he gets to where he is now on those on the edge of those rocks, there's a massive route there, and he just rode it so smooth and cleanly to make it through there and get onto the top. Mitch is also one of those riders that is so competitive in the indoor series and gives Billy a bit of a run for his money every now and again. So Mitch coming from a trials background and technically very, very good on a motorcycle.
It's quite interesting, like what a different skill set, the indoor super enduro and the outdoor hard enduro is. And obviously there's a heck of a lot of crossover, but it's almost like a mental game, a mental difference rather than a skill set difference.
Yes.
Saw Frances coming through an earlier section this morning, and he was looking really strong. He's having another good day.
He's another one of those riders that sort of gets stronger as the race goes on. You know, these rally style events where you have multiple days, you see some of these guys that they build up slowly. They might not start out so fast out the gates, and they just build their way and build their momentum and their speed during the event and make their way up the leaderboard.
He's done that very, very well. So this must be his first time up here, and he's just got the bike exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah. And just coming back to Mitch Brightmore, so unfortunately this year we don't have his brother Ashton with us this year, but those two, I think, Chris, part of why they're so good is because they ride and train together so much and just push each other all the time.
Yeah, who do you want to beat more than your brother, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It seemed to work for the Lawrences. Yeah.
So Graham Jarvis in shot here. Graham doing that pivot turn. I'm sure he's going to be pretty happy to be clear this section here now and get some fresh air into his face, because there's almost no wind and it's so super hot here on site.
It must be so steep if he's pulling on the front wheel like that. Good job, Graham.
So maybe I was doing a little bit hard on Mitch Brightmore there before, but if Graham is doing it as well, the King Jarvis, it's got to be extreme. And this is where we saw Mario taking that slightly higher line to just have a little bit of a safety buffer, but Graham Jarvis opting for that lower line to make it around the bottom of that rock on the edge there.
So obviously the top guys here, they're trying to squeeze seconds and that sort of thing. As we drop further down the gold field, it becomes about trying to be as efficient and mistake-free as possible. And generally, like at this point, it's about reducing the mistakes to their minimum, and that's how you can create the time.
Yes.
It's more about trying to not lose time than create time, yeah?
So Francesc Marot, he's also, I wouldn't say a veteran yet of Red Bull Romaniacs, but knows what to expect. Been here before. As we just heard behind us now, Michael Walkner making his way off to the finish line from the Leat Live Maniacs. Does he have a problem?
I think he does. What's he working on there? Oh,
He's just putting a cable tie around the guard for the
he's
exhaust,
flicked.
looks like, maybe.
Looks like he's flicked out the side panel.
Yes.
Obviously, he doesn't want to lose that, but a bigger issue there is it interferes with your riding. So as you're trying to move your foot around the bike, that will snag and
Sort of
prevent,
catches on your boot. Yeah.
so prevent you from getting your foot to where it needs to be. And that's a bad thing when you're on a motorcycle on the side of a cliff.
Yeah. If you're trying to get your foot back on the foot peg and you can't do that, next thing you end up on the wrong side of nowhere.
So I'd say the time that Frances took to just quickly remedy that was time very, very well spent.
And these guys have a lot of, the riders and the service crews have a lot of tricks up their sleeves and really unique things that they do for the riders to have these spare parts in places for them that make it as quick as possible to get to. So that plastic zip tie that we saw them using there, usually they will keep them under the rubber band of where the headlights attaches to the front fork, so that they can just pull them out and as quickly as can and use it and get moving.
And this being the marathon stage, the guys have probably ramped that up even more, right?
Absolutely.
There'll be more spare parts and more tools on board. 10 cable ties rather than 5.
Yeah.
Just making sure the guys get through this marathon stage.
So we just see this. I think this is Francesc Maroc that we saw going up and over, coming down the ski slope here.
I think that's
that's
Graham. Yep.
It's Graham Jarvis.
I remember back in my days, the downhills were about the only places I could actually make time on Graham.
Yeah.
He's he's so efficient. He doesn't need to take risks on the downhill. But my background racing downhill mountain bikes, I could kind of reel him in on some of the downhills and pass them every now and then. But then of course, what goes down has to go back up again. And the problem was very quickly rectified for Graham.
Yes. And Graham did a lot of work on his, how can I call it, his speed work. So, because he used to lose a lot of time on the sort of in-between flowing sections to the other riders, because he was so good when it got technical. But when it in those in-between sections where you need to get up to speed and go a bit faster, he used to lose a lot of time. So he's built up his skill set now and has a lot in his pocket.
I remember there was a real change there, like as you say, like in the more open stuff, which Red Bull Romaniacs has quite a bit of. Like we're showing you guys the most technical, most extreme parts of this, but a lot of this race as well, you're up and going, you're moving, you're 4th, 5th gear, and Graham was, I'll say it, Graham was absolutely terrible at those sections. And he took the time to go and train with a motocross team, what was the Golden Tire motocross team at that point, and pick up all that side of it. And I remember showing up to Red Bull Romaniacs, and his entire body's position, his entire style on the bike had changed, and it was, oh no, someone showed him how to do it. Ah.
Someone's done their homework.
Yeah, okay, right, this is going to be even harder now.
Off-season preparations.
Yeah, who showed him that?
So we have another great drone shot here of the overview of the area that we're at here. In your bottom left-hand corner is all the teams of the Gold Riders, their service crews, where they came in to have their sort of decontrol area, to have some time to have something to eat and drink, and get the technicians and the mechanics working on the bikes to prepare them to only see them again, as we said, at the service point tomorrow of day 3, as we go into this marathon stage. But beautiful, beautiful scenes here of this Lotro Valley. Up on the top of those mountains there is the start of what we call our alpine areas. We've seen a lot of action in the past years from that area, and this is the best way to cool down in Romania and have a bit of almost an ice bath, not as cold as it may get.
I think we can pan away from that now, I reckon.
Yeah?
We can move on. Can we get a camera change?
A little bit too much action there. Yeah. So we see number 26.
What do you reckon if you gave him the option of lying in the creek or scrumming his bike up this climb. What do you think rider number 26, Sonny Goggi, would go for now?
Yeah.
Sonny's a legend. This is how many Red Bull Romaniacs he's done, but a real legend of the sport. Super nice guy. Done it all as a privateer?
Yes. I'm just trying to figure out which part of the track he's on here at the moment, but he seems to be a little bit stuck.
I'm not 100% convinced he's on the track.
No. So Graham Jarvis in front of us, he's come through now. He's going to go for his last loop of this Leat Live Maniacs. As Felix, there we go. So that's the first shot that we've got of our riders going up full gas, full throttle, second or third gear up the section and cutting out those first two big traverse off sections of the Via Ferrata. Graham will be pretty happy about that.
And how these guys who attack these climbs is quite a unique thing for hard enduro. They're going to have the clutch in, hold the bike wide open, full gas, and they're not going to back that throttle off until they've got their back tire where they want it to be.
Yeah.
And any power modulation is going to be all done in the clutch.
Okay.
So you hear these things just wide open.
Yeah.
All in that clutch. No denying hard enduro is pretty tough on the clutch.
Yeah. And so I suppose they also do it just before to clear those cobwebs and just cobwebs as we call them, get the bike nice and crisp and running, and so that they know before they hit the climb that they've got the full power from the bike.
Absolutely, especially when you've been doing a lot of low-end, like torquey sort of stuff, like you're seeing Graham doing here. So the two-stroke bikes, they all use oil in the fuel or injected in, and that when you have lower RPM for a long amount of time, that oil can kind of gather in the crank a bit, and when you go to give it a great big handful for one of these climbs, it might not go. So as a precaution, like you say, you'll hear the guys do a big pre-rev. We call it cleaning it out, and we know that the bike's going to drive all the way up with every ounce of horsepower it can create.
Yeah. So Graham Jarvis, he's on his last loop now of this Leat Live Maniacs. He's actually riding pretty well up here in these sections now. He's made light work of that section. I think the first two loops where he had to go through the Via Ferrata up those steps where we saw him getting a little bit of assistance, took some energy out of him because he's made some good time up here now.
I think a huge factor today is the heat. Like, it is stinking hot today. And with that looked like a face of a hot Graham Jarvis. Last lap, mate, you've got this.
One of the riders we're missing this year is Wade Young. Unfortunately, Wade had a shoulder injury, and these, I would say, is one of the types of conditions where a rider like Wade Young does so well, because coming from South Africa, where generally it's really hot all year round, Wade tends to really thrive in these kind of conditions and take advantage of the situation.
One of the fittest guys for sure, and probably one of the strongest as well. Like, he looks like he should be playing, American football. If there's a set of shoulders you want, it's Wade Young's, right?
Yeah.
And so when it's time to push and it's time to scrum, Wade has just that extra bit of power for a lot of the guys.
Yeah,
I think sometimes that can be a detriment as well, though, like, because he's got that strength, he's got that power, he tends to fall back to it. Whereas maybe a guy like Graham would finesse and find his way up and not resort on that strength.
But Wade was, we spoke earlier about Graham honing his skills that he needed to, where he'd get faster in the in-between sections. Wade Young was one of those riders where that was the complete opposite. He's lost a lot of ground to the more technical riders like Graham Jarvis in these tough sections, but was so fast in the in-between sections, and really honed those skills of the technical abilities to a point where he was our winner in 2018.
It's an interesting thing. A lot of these guys, most of the European guys, they do all come from trials. And I would say Wade is probably the most successful hard enduro racer that's not come from that trials background.
Yeah, definitely, I would agree with that. He's multiple winner of different events, and it's very, very sad not to see him here this year due to that injury. Mitch Brightmore, a few seconds ago, just went past our commentary booth, and so he's on his way to the finish line as well.
I can only tell you how good it must feel to escape this, get out onto a more open trail and start clicking some gears and get some airflow around you, get that body temperature back down again.
As Felix Barker, he's flying up here. So you see where he is there now. That's the first off camber where they were coming back down off the Via Ferrata.
So he's pulled off a pass there.
No, he's
No?
well, he's gonna.
Oh, he's on his last lap.
Where
sorry.
he is now, yeah, he's on his last lap, and where he is now is where they're to come over from the Via Ferrata section. So he's flown up this bit here and made it. He almost skipped two. Back and forth, it looks like. So riding really, really nicely.
Felix came through that first signature section this morning looking really solid. He's only a young guy. I'm not sure how old he is, but he seemed like a really young guy.
Yeah, he's of the Alfredo Gomez racing team.
Okay.
So Alfredo's got a lot of young guns in that team that are showing a lot of promise.
That looked like Sonny Gogia questioning some life decisions back in the last shot. So Rigo, one of the top, unarguably the top Brazilian hard enduro racers.
Most certainly.
And this is, man, it's an incredibly international event, this, hey? Like, we've got guys from literally all over the planet. We're just looking at your list here, we've got Brazil, Romania, Germany, Czech, Great Britain, Ukraine, South Africa, and Russia. It's as Australian, it's as international as international racing gets.
Yeah, 63 nations being represented this year at the 22nd edition of the Red Bull Romaniacs. It is the most nations of any motorsport event in Romania, and it's, you know, you sit around at the restaurant at the hotel and listen to all the different languages, and everybody's sort of trying to chat to each other and get those friendships going. It's pretty cool.
So Alfredo must be on his last lap now as well. He'll be very happy to get out of here.
Absolutely, I agree with you. So Sonny just being a little bit patient there while to wait for Alfredo to get through. And Felix, we saw Felix, so we were talking about Felix earlier. He is only 20 years old.
Wow, that's impressive.
Which is quite something.
So this event does require a very, very calm head. It requires you a lot of endurance to have that skill set and that mindset at 20 is very impressive.
He's also riding on that Beta RR 300 that we saw here. I think this is Alfredo Gomez on the same bike, that Beta 300 race bike. This is still a carbureted bike. So you might hear slightly different sound to the fuel injected, and there is differing opinions about the fuel injection and the carbureted bikes and which ones they prefer. A lot of riders still preferring the carbureted bikes, even though you have to get the jetting right. But that grunt in the bark from a carbureted bike is definitely something that I quite like.
I think as the fuel injected bikes continue to develop and continue to improve, like there's been a huge jump in performance from the TPI KTMs, the TBI KTMs, the throttle body injection rather than the transfer port injection. That just changes the way the bike behaves. And there is still a case for a carburetor, but for me, obviously I'm pretty biased with KTM. I was more than happy to throw out my jets and all the spare needles and have the jet faff around and get it for the right conditions.
Pull the charts out, check the temperature, altitude.
Yeah. Done with that.
As we saw Rigo in picture a bit earlier, and shot here right now as well, he was shaking his head, so I'm not sure if something's happened or he's just absolutely spent on this section.
Maybe he's not too stoked at riding a bike up a cliff.
Yeah. And Felix, we're trying to get a shot of Felix again. I'm just trying to see. Oh, so this is Felix. Felix making the turn here now. So it was actually not Rigo. Apologies.
So we've just seen Graham Jarvis fly past the tent and get out here, clearing this section. And interesting, there's 30 years between Felix And
Wow.
Graham.
That's
How's that?
that's something.
Undoubtedly, Felix grew up watching Graham Jarvis race.
Yes. And the youngsters of the sports, I mean, of most sports, they're so good at such young ages because, you know, there's so much material for them, you know, videos to watch, and a lot of these top riders have their own channels where they teach their skills, and so you see a lot of the younger riders in the sport coming through at very early ages and taking on the old boys.
Absolutely. Like for myself, I was 27 before I even knew Red Bull Romaniacs existed.
Wow.
I'd never heard of hard enduro.
Yeah.
It hadn't made its way to New Zealand, and I'm very, very glad that it did. It was a life-changing moment coming here the first time.
Yes. So it was Rico that was behind Felix there. So maybe Felix making a pass on Rigo, maybe Rigo wasn't quite happy about that, but Felix is on a charge at the moment.
Nicely across that off-camber.
Yeah.
These off-camber sections, that's definitely a part of the trail that you'll see. It can go one of two ways. Sometimes they rut out nicely and there's something to hold your wheels. Sometimes it just gets so blown out and it's just rock faces and tree roots that you're trying to ride across.
Yes. David Cyprian, so great to see him as well. Another rider that's been in the gold class quite a few years. He knows this event very well.
It's interesting, one of the few riders using the full wraparound metal handguards. They were a thing that everybody absolutely used, 100% of the field. And yeah, one of the few guys in the gold class still running those. Pros and cons to everything. You know, it's very reduced chance of damaging your levers, damaging your controls. And in a marathon stage like this, that's probably not a bad call. But you have the increased risk of sort of getting tangled up in them and potential wrist injuries. And it does make the bike feel a bit wider, but obviously he's made the call to go with those.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's sort of a trend that develops in certain parts of the bike where, you know, you'll see one or two of the professionals changing to the flaps, as we see here on Felix's bike, and then a lot of riders changing to it because it looks cool and it feels cool like your motocross rider. But personally, I agree with you. I still run the full wraparounds.
I never do.
Bike.
No, I'm normal, just the flags.
Just the
yeah,
flags.
and I find now when I go back to the full handguards, I hit trees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're just that little bit wider, and it's incredible how your mind just knows exactly where your hands are, where your handlebars are.
Yeah.
If I borrow a bike now with handguards, I hit trees. We just seen Alfredo Gomez finishing his Leat Live Maniacs section, and he looked like a very hot man.
He looked pretty spent to me, to be honest. And
you guys know what I mean by that.
Yeah. So Anthony Sola, the Australian from the Dirt Bike Burrito podcast on Sherco 300.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong out there, but I think this is the first time an Australian's race gold class.
Yeah, could be.
So
pretty check that. That's pretty cool.
Definitely, hard enduro has been growing big time in Australia. Mainly at all the work of a guy, Greg Peterson, who's been super passionate in developing hard enduro racing in Australia. They have a full national championship now, and it's cool to see Anthony stepping up into the gold class. Many Australian riders have raced silver, have raced bronze, but I believe first time in the big game.
No, that's pretty cool. And we saw earlier there Sonny Goggia choosing to walk his bike on that downhill section, not wanting to take any risk, but that will cost him a bit of time.
So sometimes it's a roll of a dice there. Like, do I want to walk it and lose time and energy, or am I happy to ride it and take the risk?
Yeah.
And often what you're looking for is what's the run out, what's the kind of almost the landing from this downhill. So if it does pick up speed, if it does start to get away from you, are you going to be able to rein that back in and get rid of that momentum? And if you can't see, you don't know, especially on the first lap, then maybe that call of getting off and walking the bike is a good call.
And maybe that's what caught Billy out on that same section. Just couldn't see, or took his eyes off for a second where he wanted to go, and you can just be off the bike in a second.
Yeah, and potentially, you tag a tree with your handlebars as you go past, that sets up the flap, and all of a sudden you're in a big mess.
Felix Barker, he's out now of the Leat Live Maniacs. He's just got ridden past us. He's also making his way to the finish.
It's an incredible effort for 20 years old, eh?
Really, really, really good.
So generally, that's bulldogging going wrong.
Yeah, so this is the screed section that we were talking about a bit earlier. Once you're in those rocks, they're in those shell, there's not a lot that you're going to do to stop the bike and stop the momentum, because the whole hillside sort of starts sliding.
See those rocks flying through you? They'll be from the rider behind him, dislodging them. That's a potentially dangerous situation. Oh, and he comes flying out of it. That has become so loose. I think this is one of these sections that we're seeing deteriorate with every bike.
Yes.
It's becoming more and more fluffed up, looser and deeper. And if you do start to ride it, there's a pretty... Look how deep the front wheel is in the rock now. It's like he's bogged in rock.
And they've sort of missed the line to the right there. So the correct line that they should be is the one on the right of the tree there, because they're not in the rocks. And then you can...
To the left of the screen.
Yeah, and you have more braking control. But, where they are now, they're in a bit of a pickle. They're going to have to just try and work that bike around and get back onto the path. We haven't seen our gold riders in the finish yet. They shouldn't be too much longer, but they have definitely got their work cut out for them.
Look at those rocks just flowing down that mountain. It's like a dry lahar.
Landslide.
Oh my gosh. And it's raining down on Sonny, and I reckon he's... Oh my gosh, what are we watching? Are we watching a KTM get buried alive? He's just hiding from the rocks. Fair enough too. Oh my gosh.
He needs to get his bike out of there, because, if he gets buried, he's going to waste a huge amount of time and energy trying to get it out. Those rocks, fortunately, they're fairly small, so he is safe where he is. But he definitely doesn't want to stay there much longer.
Oh my gosh. So is he supposed to be going down that gully, or is he supposed to be off to the right?
Yeah, he should be off to the right. So he should be off to the right here of where he is now, before dropping down into the gully. Because from the gully, there's a little bit of a vertical drop to get back down to where the tents were, where they started from.
Oh dear.
Here he goes.
I guess he's hoping he can just roll it out and get down to one piece.
Is that a rider or a spectator?
I think that's a spectator. Just it's a hot day for spectators too. It's a hot day for commentators, I can tell you.
Yeah. Anthony Sola still making his way up here. So these last sort of 2 or 3 turns have taken it out of him a bit. It may have been that aggression that we saw from him at the beginning, riding really well and fast, but it's taking a bit longer to get over the top of this section now.
And he can't use the excuse of the heat either. Like, he's from Australia.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not a card he can play.
No.
So not too dissimilar to Australian conditions here. Dry, loose, rocky.
Yeah.
Oh, he's hurting, I think.
Yeah, he's in the hurt box.
I would imagine what's happening here. Well, he's having a chat to Martin. Hey, pause for an interview, chat to the guys back home, and maybe give the forearms a little stretch at the same time.
Yeah. super shot there from our drone of Martin Fernandamitz, the event founder, just having a quick chat there with Anthony Sola.
Probably one of the most praised men in hard enduro, and also the most cursed as well.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the term in the early days was, "This Martin is mad." I mean, this sort of came from Cyril Dupre, who was our 3-time winner, I think.
I know personally, I've thanked him for changing my life, and I've accused him of trying to end my life many times.
Yeah. So we're just trying to pick up the riders now.
So it's probably worth mentioning here as well, like you're not seeing these guys further back in the gold class riding with the same intensity, it's with the same sort of racing energy that we saw the first guys come through. What you're seeing here, guys, are just guys that are trying to chase this incredibly lofty goal of just reaching the finish.
Yes.
But being able to say that you finished gold class of Red Bull Romaniacs, that is a massive achievement in itself.
And so this is Sonny Gorgia here, who we saw having his bike buried. He's trying to get off the mountain, and we saw him just pausing there. I think that must have absolutely just burnt all the matches and energy that he had to try and get out of that section, but he needs to make his way back onto the course.
So this is where things can start to spiral on you, right? Like, so the first mistake, he should have tried to hook that higher line early up and stayed out of that valley. Second mistake, maybe he's taking the wrong line, and now luckily he's got away with it. This line has dropped himself back onto the track.
Yeah.
Sometimes these situations, you make the call, it's not always the right one, and you end up stranded in some godforsaken gully somewhere. And there's been stories of guys having to swim across lakes to get out back in the days.
Yeah, Galindo.
Yeah, a friend of mine had to rappel himself and his motorcycle down a waterfall.
Yeah, man.
Luckily, he had the rope with him to do that. There's been some incredible stories of things going sideways on guys in Red Bull Romaniacs.
So apologies, that was actually David Cyprian who we saw just now, not Sonny Gorgia, trying to make his way off the hill. But here's Rico. But a lot of our signature sections and our climbs have been named from these events, these past experiences that you've been referring to, Chris. Like we now have the Galindo Hill where, I don't know if we remember, Galindo was one of our really great riders in the gold class. Got on the wrong side of one of the downhills and had no choice. He couldn't get his bike back up and just made his way down to the beeline. Well, not the beeline, just to make a beeline to the lake.
Hoped it was going to be a beeline.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was nothing. And he had to be rescued on a little small boat across the lake. So that was pretty cool.
Well, first he swam the lake.
Yeah.
And then they found the boat and rowed back across, picked him up, picked his bike up, rowed back across with a loaded boat.
Yeah.
And then he was able to continue on. Unfortunately, time barred. And time bars are a good thing to talk about here as well. That's something that not these guys, but some of the guys further back in the pack are chasing. So there is a limit to how long you have to get through each one of these sections. If you don't make it in time, you get what we call time barred, and that is the worst nightmare in the sport, right? That's what you don't want to happen.
But what is unique to this event at Red Bull Romaniacs is that each rider has their own unique time bar time. So you know, at some events you might see if the start is, let's say, at 8 a.m. and all the riders go off, and if you in the Atom class and you leaving the finish line sort of an hour after the first rider, you don't have the same time bar time. Each rider has their own unique time bar time to be able to make it around the course.
Look at how physical this downhill is. Like, this was supposed to be the easy part. This is just roll back down and have another go at it. But that is just all leg strength, core strength, just trying to hold that bike up and make your way down a super, super steep, super loose scree slope.
Either the conditions are deteriorating or it just shows the level as well between our top riders, you know?
Yeah, it's both, isn't it? Like, this looks so much steeper, so much looser than what it was earlier on. And, you know, these guys are top 30, hard enduro racers in the world, but they're not the top two either.
No. But definitely have to be strong and brave to come and take on the gold class event at the Red Bull Romaniacs. It's not something you want to do if you're not one of the top riders of in your nation.
I can honestly say it is not. Yeah, I've been fortunate, to be, in the time up the front of this race, and to be one of the guys at the back of gold class. The physical effort it's superhuman.
Yes. Is this so? This is Rico in picture now, as we see about to come up this hill, but we're just trying to see a number on this ride. I'm not sure if there's a problem or...
You see the guys just having to take I think that's just taking a momentary break. Like the heart rate's got too high, your head temperature's got too hot. Take 30 seconds to save 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You're not going to ride this super technical climb like he's about to do if your heart rate's too high, if you can't pull the clutch in.
But that's great riding, and that's probably why he just took a few moments to get his breath there and get the energy back to clean that section in one go, because if you clean that in one go, you're golden. If you make a mistake and have to go back down, you're just absolutely going to be spent.
I remember shouting at myself, telling myself, like, stop, take a break, you are too tired to get this wrong.
Yeah, even helmet off, get a bit of fresh air.
Oh no, I never ever took my helmet
really?
off. No, that was a step too far.
Yeah, too much, Too much. As the Sonny Goja comes up, so Sonny looking good again.
But just when the arms start to fail, when the reaction times aren't there, those quick little 10-second breaks that can just bring the energy back, almost like, it's like your energy bar in Street Fighter just gets a second to rebuild.
Yes.
And you can hit the next element, the next line, and get it right. If you get it right, that time comes back to you tenfold compared to rushing it and potentially getting it wrong.
No, absolutely. And a lot of these riders at the service point before they started this Leat Live Maniacs action here would have put a fresh tire on, because they need to make it from the service point here all the way to the service point of day 3 with the same tire. So a lot of them running fresh tires, which I'm sure they'll be pretty happy about.
So in Red Bull Romaniacs, we have a basically one break the whole day. That's the service point that you refer to. And how many minutes is that now? Is it 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes. Obviously for the gold riders, we sort of plan them around our show so that we can bring you the best action.
Okay.
But most of the other classes, it's a set time and a planned 20-minute break, where it's a mandatory break to rest, recover, refill your body, refill your bike, to make sure that you can make it to the end.
So that's 20 minutes out of a 6-7 hour day
where
you can have some help. And the rest of the time, it's just you
and your own.
In your helmet, no one to talk to.
Yeah. David Cyprian is out now, so well done, David. David coming past our tent, he's out and on his way to the finish.
Oh, thank you.
Rico using a similar tactic there again, just getting his energy, building his energy up to take on that off camber and do it in one shot.
Just keep chipping away at it.
Keep chipping away as we see Sonny. So Sonny and Rigo riding close together now. He's just managing that clutch. He's just, the last thing he wants is for that bike to go too far back. You might even see him throw a boot under the rear wheel to stop it from going too far back.
If nothing else shows you how steep this track is, it's this. His hands are directly above his head. Holding on to the
full
motorcycle.
stretch.
Looks like the worst set of ape hangers going down the highway in LA.
Yeah. So we are waiting for our gold riders to make their way into the finish area. They're not too far off now.
Definitely, so there's been some challenges between here and the finish then, hey? Like, it's not just a quick shoot down the road.
It's not been easy for them, especially considering the hot conditions that we have.
The wind has picked up a little bit. We've got the slightest bit of breeze, but it's still baking hot. So in Red Bull Romaniacs and in almost all hard enduro races now, there is no outside assistance. So the guy you're seeing being helped through here, he's one of the track managers. So yeah, Felipe, really nice guy.
Yeah, super nice guy.
So he's run up here to try and help these guys out and keep this ball rolling. I think Felipe is the track manager for today, yeah?
Yes, Felipe is the track manager for today, guy that's been here before and does an amazing job with the rest of the team. It's, I must say, Anthony Solo, you know, when you see you're sort of praying on the handlebars with your arms out, he's pretty spent.
Yeah, he's in the hurt locker now for sure. But this is where the training kicks in. Like every trip to the gym, every ride on the bicycle, every training ride, this is where they start to pay off.
And he's on his second loop now, so he knows that if he can get through this section, because this is the most difficult section of the Leat Live Maniacs, this Via Ferrata, once he clears here, he knows that the off-cambers and the pivot turns ahead aren't too bad, because what he doesn't want to do is to miss it and take a penalty for not completing all three loops, because he's doing pretty well in the overall and he doesn't want to drop down the order. But this is going to take a lot. The Aussie's suffering in the heat. That's something,
He's hurting. And I would 100% bet the house that giving up has not even crossed his mind.
No chance whatsoever. No chance.
Yes, he's exhausted. Yes, he needs to take these breaks and try and regain his energy. But the idea of giving up and calling it a day, that will not have even crossed his mind.
No. And he's just got this one last section here. So once that's great. So once he's cleared there, he'll get onto the Via Ferrata ladder and then make his way to those off-camber traverses, which he'll know what to do now, and he knows that he won't have to spend all the energy he has again.
Still hard work, but he knows he can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And this camera angle is deceptive. This ramp was really scary to walk down.
Especially in your boots.
Yeah.
So you'll see to his just off to the right there where those rocks are. That's where they're going to fire up for the last loop to
There's
come
a
up.
mistake. He's
caught up in the
a
cable.
bit too much. Got it caught up in that barrier, but not a big deal. But these are these little mistakes that start to sneak in when you just get too fatigued. You just little things that just keep chinking away at your armor.
So he's having a look now over his right shoulder, because when he comes in for his last loop, he'll just have to fire the bike up that hill where we saw some of the other riders like Felix doing so well.
It's interesting that what we thought was going to be the harder line, it almost seems like it's developed into the easier line.
Yeah.
Assuming you get up it.
As soon as you get up. So we're about 20 odd minutes away from seeing the first cold riders in the finish. So it won't be too much longer before we can get to hear some thoughts. I'm very interested to hear what the guys are going to say about the day, because it looks like it's turned out to be quite a lot harder than what they had anticipated.
Come on, Anthony, you can do this. Just got to dig as deep as he can. One more time. And then one more time
there
after that. And one more time after that. Yo, beautiful.
Well done, because I can tell you there where that tree is, there are two massive roots to jump over. So I think that's why he was just taking his time and did so well to clear that.
That's one of those sections that's so challenging. The only way to do it is to ride up it properly.
Yeah.
You can't push up it, you can't lift up it, you can't do it badly, so you've got to get that energy back, get up on the pegs, and absolutely grease it first time.
Yes. And now he's going to line up for this section where we saw, I think it was Rico taking a gap, a small break to get his energy, because this is another steep section where he wants to clear it in one go. Here he goes. And this is where we saw with the overtake from Teodor Kovachev, where Teodor Kovachev took the inside line here on Marco Volkner.
So I've just had a bit of intel. I've been putting your crook. Anthony Sola actually has finished Red Bull Romaniacs gold before.
Oh, good on him.
Yeah, in 2019. So he knows what he's into. And that will give him some strength too. Like, he knows that if you just keep chipping away at this, you're going to get there.
You're going to get there. It is starting to get a bit late in the day for some of the riders coming in after him, which will be a concern for them, because they will have to keep an eye on their time by time. So hopefully we do see some of the other riders coming through this Leat Live Maniacs before we go to the finish.
Anthony knows what he's got to do. He's got to get that foot in front of him, pivot the bike round. He's going to want to do that on the back wheel.
Oh,
beautiful.
Wonderful. Very, very nice. And he's not even stopping. He's going to keep. He's going to back it up and give it a run. I thought he was just going to do it in one go. That would have been impressive.
It's a good, solid drive up there.
So don't forget to also keep an eye on our webpage, and you can follow a lot of the action of the riders in the other classes, where we have live videos, commentaries, interviews, and the views of the other riders competing in the other classes here at Red Bull Romaniacs.
So if you want to know how tough this event is, how hard it is in this heat today, you're looking at the current Australian hard enduro champion.
Wow.
This guy is no rookie. That's how tough this Leat Live Maniacs section is today. It's just so physical.
And it is physical, and there's nowhere to rest. There's no gap. Once they make their way up and over, they've got that steep downhill where you cannot lose your concentration at all.
Yeah, we thought the downhill was going to be the place where you could get your breath back, and it looks like even more work.
So Rico, he's almost out now. This is his last loop on the Leat Live Maniacs via Ferrata.
I think we've just seen Matt Green show up, so he's managed to keep the bike going and get himself here.
That's great news to hear. Matthew Green, top rider, 2 times junior FIM world champion, and had a great day out yesterday, finishing in 7th overall. But as I said, carrying a slight injury in his leg now, so he might be feeling that today.
Hopefully it's on his kicking leg.
Yeah.
Kickstart leg. A story that makes me feel old is when I was fortunate enough to get to live and race in South Africa for 2 years.
Okay.
And we used to ride on a Wednesday night with Matt on his 65.
And Willie Gillett. William Gillett.
Yeah. Definitely like Matt. I think William Gillett is one of the guys to come through the Wild Will Training Academy in South Africa. Yes. Travis Teasdale, a lot of the South African guys have come through Will's training. Definitely a unique human being.
Yeah.
One of the I've never met anybody else in my life quite like Will, and I mean that in a good way.
Or anybody that spends so much time in their riding gear. Almost every time I see him, he's in his riding gear. But a lot of riders. I mean, Matt was, if I think back, was 16 years old when he sort of came through that academy, and saw him at another hard enduro races in South Africa, the MP great event where Matt performed exceptionally well at such a young age of 16. But, you know, Matthew Green, 16 years old, Wade Young, winner of the Roof of Africa at 16 years old. Manny Littenbichler was 16 at the Sea to Sky, I think he finished. So, you know, this young generation of riders are really coming on strong and hard.
And I think a big thing for this younger generation is these guys have grown up wanting to be hard enduro riders.
Yes.
You know, it's an established sport. There's training academies for it. There's a pathway to it. You know, guys of my generation and guys like Graham and that sort of thing, we all came to it from something else. You know, in the early days of Red Bull Romaniacs, it was won by Cyril Dupree, the Dakar race. It was something to do when the Dakar wasn't on.
Yeah.
For myself, I came from traditional like time card enduro. Graham, obviously from trials. Wayne Braybrook, a lot of the top guys from trials transitioned. The Hemingway brothers, Bolts, all came from trials. Whereas these younger guys, that's not the case. Like, for sure, they're getting on a trials bike, but it's a stepping stone to what they want to be, which is a hard enduro racer.
Yeah, it's sort of their specialty. They specialize in what they're doing and their racecraft for it. And it is actually just talking about that incredible how the event has evolved from the beginning. As you said, Cyril Dupree was our first winner. The first time I competed at the Red Bull Romaniacs in the gold class was in 2006, where we had a multi-day rally style where we started in Bucharest, which is a fair distance from Sibiu, and I think it was 9 days or 8 days back then.
Yeah.
Long, hard days, big mileage, almost 200 kilometers a day. You know, long rally style, where now we see the race being condensed over the years, developed, condensed into these sections like the Leat Live Maniacs, which are super, super technical and hard. And the riders now have to face 8, 10 to 12 of these sections during the day and only get those open flowing sections much less now in the day where they can get a chance to recover.
The days have become a lot shorter as well at the ride times.
Yes.
And when you do that, obviously the intensity goes up as well. So when you know you're facing a 10-hour day, you're not going to hit the same intensity that you are for a 5 or 6 hour day. So definitely over the years, this event's got significantly more technical, significantly more challenging, and that intensity is lifted up so much.
Yeah.
Matty up there pretty clean.
Yeah, Matthew Green, so looking pretty good actually. Just the eyes of these guys is one thing. You know, you look at the prologue, you can stand as a spectator at the city prologue and watch them as they come into the obstacles, eyes like saucers, and same here, they just can't believe what they're having to go up and to ride. So Anthony now, good on him, because he's on this last turn pivot to the top there. We can see the cross and the flag to his left. So he has done so well to get through this loop of the Leat Live Maniacs.
There's no doubting it. Anthony's clearly hurting. Like, this is long. It's been a long day, and we're a long way into a long day. But just that determination that these hard enduro guys bring into it, like giving up is just not even an option. It's not even there. And the guys, just their ability just to keep pushing forwards, keep digging, and keep finding another reserve of energy is incredible. The mental strength that it takes as well, like just like knowing that you can just push yourself so hard and so deep.
And just to give you an update on the progress of the top riders in the gold class, so Manuel Littenbichler is through our last checkpoint before the finish, and he is about 10 minutes away from being in the finish, where we can get some words from Manuel Littenbichler. So it's been a long day for these guys, Chris. I mean, yesterday, I think they finished around 1 p.m. Or 12:30.
After starting at 6?
Yeah, starting at 6. We're now at 2:10, so these guys have had a long day today.
And the good thing is, once they get to the end of this, they can celebrate. halfway.
Yeah, halfway. And they'll have a great way to get an opportunity there to relax. There's a wonderful river there that they all can sit in and sort of get as much cold through their legs and their body to try and recover for the next days to come, and have some campfire stories.
Absolutely. That's one thing I'll try and push on some of the guys I've helped train for Red Bull Romaniacs is the race starts on day 1 and it finishes on day 4. And the whole time you are trying to improve your situation. You're either riding your bike, recovering, preparing, resting. This event, you just got to keep moving forwards the whole time. If I ever found myself like cruising back, light, sitting back and messing around on my phone, like, hang on, I'm not moving forwards in this event. The event hasn't finished.
Keep the wheels turning all the time.
That was definitely the mindset I tried to keep into it. Like, if I have downtime, what am I using that for? And the answer could be recovery. That's 100% what it's all about. But what am I doing to recover? What am I doing to prepare? Because this event, it is just such a marathon.
And it has become, in some ways, quite scientific in terms of the nutrition for these guys. They know which certain foods they want to be taking on at what part of the race, to make sure that they have enough reserves, that they're not depleting their glycogen levels completely, so that they can make it all the way to the end. And they need to keep topping up because they are burning massive amounts of calories on these long days in this type of heat. So they want to keep hydrating, keep refueling, and as soon as they get into the finish, have that recovery shake for the protein to rebuild those muscles for the next day.
It was interesting having breakfast this morning at the hotel. I was sitting next to Johnny Walker.
Okay.
And he's eating out of a pre-mixed smoothie, athletes all figured out exactly for him mix. And, this is a Red Bull Romaniacs winner. Yes, he's only, he's raced in the adventure bike class this year.
Yes.
But that's the mindset he's bringing into it. He knows what he needs to do to get his body to the end of this. And it's not a bacon sandwich.
No. And it's...
I had the bacon sandwich. It was great.
I would have done the same. But, a lot of these guys, they'll stick to a program too. So they definitely will not try something new. So Johnny knows that that shake works for him, and he'll have that every day. He's not going to switch it up for a croissant with some bacon and scrambled egg, because he doesn't know how his body's going to react to it. They want to keep it as consistent as possible.
That's another mantra, is always never anything new on race day.
Yeah.
Nothing new on race day.
Nothing new on race day.
Everything must be tested. Everything must be tried. Everything must be reliable. Oh, those are the mistakes you don't want.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Matty's going to get held up there, but I think he'll probably be okay with a quick break, quick pause.
Oh, he's going to get a gap. There you go.
No, he's doing it.
And Matty did really well to actually clear that section in one move, because we saw him almost overbalance that pivot turn, but he did well to hold it, and he's made his way through. So he'll be pretty stoked about that.
This is when these mistakes start to cost so much, eh? Like, it's just another bit of energy stolen that you didn't need to give away.
Yeah.
Especially for these guys, these guys are here to finish. They're not competing for the podium, but everyone's only got so many lifts in them. You can only lift your bike above your head so many times.
Yeah, and this is James Robert Allen from the Great Britain on the European Enduro Transport Gas EC300, and we just saw him like that dip of the head, like, oh no, shoulders down.
I may be wrong, but I think James is a pretty strong trials rider.
Okay.
And I saw him in the prologue. He definitely had the look of a trials rider about him, the position. And I think even the world's hardest trials, like the Scottish 6-day trial, the Scott trial, they don't take you into quite as deep a hole physically as Red Bull Romaniacs will.
Yes. So you might be wondering what we're switching to here on this enduro course route. We are down in the finish, and that is actually Maniacs, number 102. He is an absolute legend of motorsport, especially in Romania. He has completed every single event in the Red Bull Romaniacs, which is quite something. An unbelievable Dakar rider. He competes in the Dakar a lot at a very high level. I think, I may be wrong, but I think he won the Moto.
One Mali Moto.
Yeah, one Mali Moto.
Original by Motul, as they call it now. Yeah.
So
absolute legend of Romanian and international motorbike racing.
Yeah, for sure. And back in the earlier days, in his expert class, which he was competing, was a team event, which they absolutely dominated for a number of years.
For the guys that are coming in absolutely exhausted, like you're seeing here, this is one of the cruelest parts of Red Bull Romaniacs. You've seen the finish, you've seen the city, you know you're nearly back, and like, oh, you want me to do what now?
Yeah, and that was Niels Asmussen from Germany on the Extreme Enduro Shop team. But he'll be pretty happy to be in the finish. Day done. But what a spectacular shot that is through the Red Bull Arch of our finish here in Rumka. But this may be one of the last things some of these guys will want to see when they get
Just let me go home. I just want to stop.
Yeah.
No, it's these guys. You know, they know what Romaniacs is. This is the kind of obstacles that kind of made Romaniacs famous.
No, definitely. And 729 there in the iron class was Alexander Petru from Canada, actually. I'm not sure exactly where in the standings, but he was looking pretty happy to be in the finish.
Look at that. He's got some stories to tell. No shirt, no handguard, bike all banged up.
That was Adam Poole from Australia. So 2:15 local time here now, late in the afternoon, sun as baking hot as anything. These guys are gonna want to get through the finish and get to the Riders Marathon paddock where they can have a dip in the nice river.
That was one of the famous Romaniac seesaws, or teeter-totters.
Yeah, teeter-totter.
Teeter-totter here, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
teeter-totter. Just
I remember nearly ending up in the river one year, sliding off one of those.
Yeah. When you're so close to the finish line, the last thing you want to be is in the river.
Yeah.
Drowned bike.
Yeah, and I rushed it and I stuffed it, and I was very, very lucky to get away with it. Okay, he's going to have to
Just
build it up,
just
punch it.
Can't get a race
Nicely
number
done.
on this, but that's nicely done. Oh. So that's the fatigue setting in. So we're actually waiting for Manny Littenbichler to come through as our first gold riders here. So we're going to bring you some of this great action from the finish until we can see Manny.
The feeling of relief and the feeling of achievement of hitting these of getting these finish lines and taking off another day. It's a tough drug to beat, right?
Yeah, yeah. So this is Cooper Miller from Australia on the Motor Odyssey Australia KTM 300.
Yeah, it's cool to see so many Australians over this year.
Lots.
Yeah, the sport of hard enduro racing in Australia did struggle for quite some time to get up and get moving, but it's happening now, and that we're seeing more and more guys coming over and racing in international events, and you know, guys like Anthony Sola and right up there in the top classes.
So nicely ridden here. This ride looks like there is a beeline over those tyres.
Maybe one day we might even see Australians beating New Zealanders.
You think?
No, probably not. Probably not.
No chance. So this is
no New Zealanders in gold class this year, though.
Yeah.
And it's been a while.
So Philip Bertel from Australia on the X-Grip Beta 300 race. Austria, sorry. My apologies.
And another long-time Romaniacs competitor. I've raced with him in silver class in the past, yeah.
So we're looking for Mani. I mean, there's going to be no doubt when either Mani or Billy or Mario come through, because we're going to see them launching through these obstacles. But a lot of the silver riders coming through here now.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
No.
Could be. Yeah.
No.
Well, he's certainly going fast. There's no doubt about that.
He's trying.
That's, is it 137? I think I saw.
Oh, here comes Paul Torres in the Tenero. So this might be the first Adventure Ultimate guy rolling in.
Is Paul... So Paul is in a very, very tight race here. Yesterday, the times were very close between Paul Torres and Johnny Aubert. So Paul looks like he's going to be first through the finish of the day.
Looks like they've had a bigger, tougher day on the Avenger bikes today. It's a longer day on the bike for sure.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what the gap is to the next Adventure Ultimate racer.
Oh, so there's Manny. Wonderful. Bravo, Manny. So great to have Manny in the finish.
I'm looking forward to this interview. I want to hear what Manny has to say.
He's looking pretty happy with himself, I must say. He's looking calm. He'll be happy as day's over. But, the face does paint a picture. He's pretty hot. Let's go down to Jesse in the finish, please.
So at the finish line today, yet again, we are joined first by Manny LIVeManiacs. Now, Manny, this is the first time we've got to talk to you today, so you're going to have to give us all of the gossip of the day. We did have a look at your times, and we can see that the morning you took it a bit slower, it seems. Was this tactical, or was it just more difficult?
I think the pace in general from everybody was way higher. It was way easier day, and I think I'm a pretty good technical rider, so I couldn't play out my cards as well. But overall, pretty happy with my riding. It was quite fast today. We really had to push hard. Everybody was on fire, and there was no time for any kind of mistake. So yeah, I'm quite stoked. I'm not sure where we end up, but overall pretty happy to be the first guy in the finish because I started out first.
There was a few moments where we could see you and Mario sort of swapping in the ranks. Now, can you tell us anything about those interactions of you swapping places?
Not really, because we're literally just riding by our own, but I heard at the service that Mario was 30 seconds in front. I had some issues with the stages, with the service points, where just to check in with the transponders. I'm not sure if we can get some time back, but other than that, I think it's pretty cool to see Mario up there, because he was struggling a little bit this year, and now he's just on fire. So it's quite cool to see.
And today's service point was that bit longer because this is now the marathon part of the race where you don't get that mechanical help tonight. What were your service team doing at that point?
We just changed the tire, got a fresh mousse and checked everything, every bolt, put a new air filter, and I think right now it wasn't super dirty also the last bit, so that's pretty cool. Maybe we just wipe it up, check the screws, and I think we're pretty happy about this.
Wicked, so there's not too much work you're going to have to do tonight in the Park Ferme?
Nah, not at all, so that's quite nice. It just saves some time, and we just refuel the bike and yeah, maybe clean up the stickers, and that's pretty much it.
And how was day 2 in the heat? Did you have those fans with the bottles of water down your neck again?
Yeah, luckily it was so hot today, it was way more hot than the previous day, so it was definitely pretty intense in some uphills, but overall pretty happy now to be in the finish, maybe have a little dip into the river, let's see.
And final question, you're obviously no stranger to Red Bull Romaniacs, and you sort of know what to expect. Day 3, do you have any kind of game plan? Are you going to reserve energy, give it your all?
I think this year there's no time to really save some energy. Everybody's so on fire that we just go out, ride as fast as possible, and do the same thing also on day 4. So there's not really a lot of time to make any mistakes, like I said already, but yeah, we're just trying to have a solid day tomorrow also.
Absolutely, it is incredibly close this year, so thank you so much for talking to us, and go jump in the river and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
So Chris, Manny's saying that the times are so close to the guys, everyone pushing hard, and a bit of an easier day, he said, on day 2. Which we used to see in the past years. Day 2 was always the sort of the transition day. But yeah.
Yeah, so it is the marathon stage. We do need to get all the competitors from Sibiu out to the name of this town, I've forgotten.
Vulture,
and it's a long way away, so we can't have extreme hard enduro the entire way. And that's where the kind of the rally style of this event starts to come in. And like Manny said, it's so hard to know where you are in the rankings and on the day, because it's all about time.
Yeah.
You can't see the guy. I mean, you get a few little glimpses of it here in the Live Maniacs section, but you can't be doing that maths whilst you're trying to hang a motorcycle off the side of the cliff.
Cheapers.
So yeah, it's all about now how long Manny has to sit here and wait for the next guy to show up, and he's going to know his result from that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Mario Roman making a real charge and push early on in the day, closing that gap up to Manny, and then Manny extending it out again. So Manny saying that he's just going to sit in the finish and wait and see. We expect that the next rider, which should be Mario Roman, in second on the road in the next sort of 10 or 12 minutes. But Mario's had a great day. But Teo and Billy definitely not giving up the fight.
Not at all. Like it's the race is on for this year for sure. And of course, the thing to factor in here as well is the start time. So this is like a rally style. The guys aren't all starting at the same time.
No.
They're starting at time intervals. This race is all about the clock as much as it is about the your physical position you cross the line in.
And Tero Kabachev, he's focused so much attention on this race for quite a few years. You know, he's a Bulgarian rider, which is pretty close to this region. I would say similar conditions. And Tero's one of those riders as well that's technically really, really good, but also super fast on the open sections. So if he can put the hammer down towards the end here and try and close that gap up, we've got a proper race in our hands.
Absolutely. I remember Tedor coming past me on one of the combined gold and silver sections a couple of years ago. I was blown away at the pace that he was holding in the more sort of intermediate sections. Obviously, you know, we've seen the hardest of the hard sections here with the Red Bull Live Maniacs, but the in between, the kind of basic and well, not so basic, but, you know, enduro sort of stuff rather than the hard enduro. His speed was incredible.
Yes, no, definitely. And, I mean, we saw great battles between Theodor Kabachev and Wade Young at X-Ross, where they have similar riding styles now. You know, Theodor and has got super fast. Wade, as we know, is untouchable in the open stuff. But Wade also raising those technical skills, as we said, where Wade came out the eventual winner. But Teo pushed so hard there through the days because he had to make up that time. And I think he's going to try and use the similar strategy for here at Romaniacs, where he's going to push hard each day because Teo gets stronger day after day. So we're seeing a few of the other riders still making their way through the finish here, but just waiting to see who the next rider is going to be. Hopefully Mario Roman, but I think we're going to close it off here now, Chris. Do you want to sum up the day for us? And
I think that the sum up for today is today is set up day 3. You know, day 1 set up day 2. Day 2 is set up day 3. It's all still all to play for, and really excited to see how the results roll in and how the second day of the marathon stage rolls out tomorrow.
I'm really excited for when those results do come out, because we've had such tight racing, such close racing with these guys. They're going to have a look tonight, reassess, reevaluate, you know, and come out fighting tomorrow, where we've got a great section for you tomorrow, which is the cliffhanger, another signature section for Leat Live Maniacs. The name kind of says it all.
Sounds terrifying.
So don't forget to check out on our webpage, where you can follow on our socials, keep up with the race and those stories that are coming in. And please join us tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern European Summertime for Leat Live Maniacs. Over and out.